Very excited to be on today, everyone, and thank you for joining me. As Wicia mentioned, I'm the president and founder of Digital Resource. We're a full-service digital marketing agency based out of West Palm Beach, Florida, with another satellite office in Nashville, Tennessee, servicing the entire country for their digital marketing needs. Our clients are usually coming to us when they're concerned with their revenue growth, they're frustrated they're not generating enough business from the internet, or just annoyed with how they're presenting themselves visually online. So I'm excited today to talk about the power of cold emailing. And I have to say, not only do we assist with cold emailing for our clients, but we have a team of 10 cold callers here for our own company. So we get to do trial and error with our own team and get to see what's going on in the world of B2B marketing and demand gen as well. As far as what we're going to cover today, cold calling. What is it? Why is it important? We're going to talk about crafting messages, what to say, how often to say it, what platforms to use. A few different methodologies as well, like Sandler and some books that we apply different sales methodologies to and from. And so I'm happy to dive in today. I'm sure there'll be questions as we go throughout. So I'll be happy to get those answered, afterwards. So first of all, the importance of cold emailing. Why do we want to cold email? Cold emailing is one of the toughest things to do in marketing, but some of the most beneficial. When it comes to cold emailing, not everyone knows who you are. So it's a really valuable tool to get in front of businesses or individuals that don't know who you are, but might be the perfect fit for your product or service. So how do we start cold emailing? Before we get there, I do want to continue on some of those benefits, because if we know who we're going to go after, it can help us get in front of that audience and build some relationships. Not every cold email that you send out is going to be the perfect timing for the people you're reaching out to, but it can kickstart those conversations and open those people up to being inside your marketing funnel. Also, it helps us learn more about what's going on in the industries that we're reaching out to. Are they having trouble with hiring? Are they overwhelmed with the amount of leads they're already getting? Is everything drying up, or is financing not as great for some of the sales that they've been trying to make due to the economy? We learn more what's going on in the industry and discover new opportunities through cold emailing and starting these conversations. And brand awareness. I mean, if you're reaching out to tens or hundreds or thousands of people through cold emailing, depending on the size of your team, you're getting in front of a lot of people, again, who otherwise wouldn't know about you. And although it may not always be the perfect timing for someone to receive those emails, it gets them into that funnel and again, can propel that brand through your other marketing initiatives. What makes cold emailing successful? We know that cold emailing is, I would never say it's a dying sport, because it's not. We have 10 full-time people that do it and tons of clients that do it, but it is becoming more difficult. And the key with cold emailing is to get in front of the right person, hopefully at the right time, but with the right personalization to get them to stop that scroll. So when someone's within their emails and they're looking at what emails to open, which emails to give attention to, we have to pay attention to how we send out our emails. Number one, though, who are we targeting? Great tools like ZoomInfo can give us the most accurate and up-to-date industry data when it comes to phone numbers, email addresses, and other information like company size, revenue, and location. For us, we work really heavily in the franchise industry. We want to know how many franchisees they have, what's their company revenue, and do they have a marketing director, or is the CEO still taking the reins if they're an emerging franchisor? Using ZoomInfo, we can get better data on who does what inside what companies, so we can reach out to people more accurately. We love getting in touch with new businesses, but we hate when it's the wrong person. But sometimes that can be an opportunity to get an introduction to someone else within the company. Never hesitate, if you do get a response, to then ask for an introduction to the appropriate person. Industry. You may know what industries are most profitable for your company or most likely to buy, have the highest close rates. So pulling the right industry data can be very important. And again, company size. We know for us that a company has to have a certain number of employees or locations to really see success. So we wouldn't want to waste our time reaching out to people that are too small. Or on the other hand, some companies are so large, they have their processes set in their ways. They have companies that would be very hard to remove and replace with us. And we know that those might not be the best close rates. So we'll try to go somewhere in the middle. So evaluating the company size will help you get better yeses in the end. Revenue kind of goes hand in hand with that. And that revenue data can help you also evaluate company size if other metrics aren't helping you get there. And location. Sometimes what you do might have different pricing depending on physical location, or have different capabilities depending on location. So knowing where your prospects are is hugely important. And Zoom Info is one of the best tools to get all of this information. But we need to tailor our messaging. So number one, aim to educate. We are a no pressure sales team. Instead of ABC, always be closing, we are ABS or NBS, excuse me, never be selling. We do not sell, we educate here at Digital Resource, and we train our clients to do the same. Never be selling is a process of educating your prospect on what you have, who you are, but most importantly, why it's relevant to them. And that's the hardest part, is getting them to see why it's relevant to them. And that's where personalization comes in. The best way to personalize is the subject line of your email. That's what they're seeing first. So for us, when we're going after a franchisor, we might use a successful franchisor in the subject line of us. So we have a gym that we work with, very successful gym franchise. And the subject lines of our cold emails, we say, we work with ABC Gym. When people get that email, they've heard about them in the industry, and they're likely to open with it, knowing we're the marketing company behind their success. That's just one piece of personalization. And depending on your industry, the clients you work with, your case studies, you can personalize based on those aspects. Another way I've seen personalization go really great is by someone saying, we know what you've done. So if your prospect, I'm going to use my example again of franchisors, if franchisors are opening 5 locations a month, I might say, congrats on your opening location number 52 in this city. I might be like, wow, how does this person know how many locations I've opened, what my last opening location was? They must have done a lot of research about me. Personalizing it so that your prospect knows you've done the research and you're not reaching out for no reason, assuming you might be a fit, but has taken that time is very important. Another really cool way of personalization is the use of video. So there's tools like Vidyard that allow you to do short clips to draw attention. If you are great enough to have a good subject line that gets that email open, yes, content's going to be key as far as what you write, but there's nothing better than video. Vidyard, for example, allows you to shoot a video of whatever length. We typically recommend 20, 30 seconds, and then embed an animated GIF into the email body where they can actually see you. Now you might say, okay, yes, they see a video, they might click on it. But nowadays I'm getting a lot of videos. What's going to make me click further? Great subject line, knowing about my business. Yes, that's going to make me click. But if you have an animated GIF, an example like holding up a whiteboard with your prospect's name on it, they're going to know that video was made for them. So if you've taken the time to reach out, to customize the email to something about them that's very difficult or not common knowledge about them, have a video showing you embedded or invested the time to create video to get in front of them, and show them that video is made for them and not a generic video made for anyone, there is some amazing personalization. That's how you get the best responses. And then presenting a problem. I mean, your prospect has to have a problem you want to be solving. So talking about that and not just about your company, of course, is key. And supplying a solution. We don't want you to just show or tell them why you don't want us to just tell them why you're great. You want to show them why you're great. Case studies are always valuable, but make sure that case study is as relevant to them as possible. For us, a case study in the restaurant business might not be as good as a case study or not as good of a case study when we're going after a gym or a fitness concept. So while it shows our success, it might not show that our success translates. So when you use case studies, make sure they're solid. Using a multi-step approach. I hope everyone's doing this, but if not, we're going to get you doing it. So creating a cadence, first of all, how often do you follow up? How many days in between? And what other platforms should you use? Cold emailing is the start of most great cadences, but it's important to layer them on with social media connections through LinkedIn. Social media connections, why not through Facebook, Instagram? Some people may say that those are too personal, and depending on your industry, they may be. But the more connections, the more touch points, the more you're visible, the more your name will be recognized. I caught myself the other week getting a phone call from a name I recognize. I listened to the voicemail and I did not know who that person was. I never spoke to them before. I went in my email and searched their name, And I realized I had gotten 4 or 5 emails from them on a connection on LinkedIn, and they had been so in front of me, I thought I knew them. And I was obviously much more likely to listen to the voicemail and take them up on their offer. Unfortunately, for my example, they weren't customizing their messaging, and I did not take their call. But with this cadence, we want to connect with them on social media. Throw in text messages when appropriate, but very sparingly, and obviously leave phone calls. Voicemail drops can be a great thing to do when you're trying to go for quantity over quality, but we always prefer the quality cadence, and we'll use active phone calls and custom voicemails in that case. When it comes to the cadence, again, about how often, we typically like to have our touch points be obviously immediate, with a 2-day follow-up, a 2-day follow-up, a 7, and then maybe a 2-week. That cadence can be very different from one industry to another or one service to another. Look at what your competition's doing. How often are they reaching out? How long is the sales cycle? How much competition does your customer typically analyze? Are they looking just at one option? They typically look at 10. All of these things will factor into how long your cadence should be, how quickly or not quickly you should be following up, and what forms of communication might be appropriate. As an honorable mention, we do have direct mailing and gifting. Just the other day, I was sent a fruit basket. I was also sent a mug from the school I went to for college. Gifting is getting more and more prevalent, but gifting only works when it's meaningful. There's a company that we work with that I see them offering $10 Starbucks gift cards for taking a meeting. If you're trying to get in front of a big CEO, that $10 Starbucks gift card might not have a lot of meaning to them. But someone sending me a mug from my college, if I really loved where I went to school, that might be meaningful enough for me to say, you're paying attention. I'm going to take that call. So when you gift, again, personalize it. Personalization is key no matter what type of communication you're going with: calls, texts, emails, social connections. And I kind of correlate gifting with direct mail. If you're not going to go as far as giving a gift, when you send direct mail, make sure it's customized as well, and make sure it's built to get past any gatekeepers. Make sure that direct mail piece looks like it was handwritten or looks like it was directed to the CEO, something that the gatekeeper might not want to open on their own without maybe getting in trouble. We want to analyze our open rates and responses. You all may not know what a good open rate is or response rate is. Open rates of over 40% with 10% response rates, you are crushing it. Keep that up. But if you're somewhere between like 20 and 40% open rates and your responses are under 5%, it's not horrible, but you definitely want to consider swapping and messaging, A/B testing, and including more personalization, maybe even going a step further to layer on some more aggressive targeting like gifting or direct mail. But if you're not getting open rate higher than 20%, you're not getting responses, it's not only time to reevaluate the subject line, send times, and messaging, but maybe to reevaluate the people you're going after in the first place. Maybe what you have to offer isn't as relevant to that type of business as you think it is. Maybe it's horrible timing for that set of people that you're pulling from ZoomInfo or other. And then maybe it is just those subject lines, send times, and messaging, because we know people open messages at the certain times of day. We know that they have to read the subject line to get into that message in the first place. So obviously that's the first place you want to start. As you do get responses, you have to pay attention to what's coming up. You have to know what to A/B test with. Should I change this word? Should I make this a question? Should I add more personalization? Should I shorten this email? Should I go from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. as far as my send times? Should I take it from a 2-day cadence in between to 5 days in between? Is this enough time to allow them to get back to me? Just in recent weeks, through some of my own cadences, I've noticed I've been late on a couple of my emails by a day or so. And before I even got to my next to-do, I've been getting emails back, somewhat realizing that if I gave my cadence an extra day, I might not have to be that bothersome company following up once more without them getting back to me. So by pushing my cadence 1 day, noticing that people are getting back to me within 3 days instead of 48 hours like I thought, I've kind of created a more clean cadence with less touch points. So evaluation of all of this is so important. So you A/B test down to what works best for you. And know what works best for an organization may not work best for every single user. Whoever's doing the cold outreach may have a different tone and personality. So if you're not creating the same set of language across the board for all the people who are doing your cold outreach, you may want to allow them some creativity so that they can be a little bit more them. and that will create their own cadences and then therefore their own A/B testing throughout. So who has heard of the Sandler sales method? You've probably heard of Tony Robbins and Dale Carnegie. Well, Sandler is its own sales method in itself. It's something that Digital Resource as a company has subscribed to for almost a decade, and a really hard and fast, great communication system. It starts with building bonding and rapport, to an upfront contract of what's possible, both with the prospect and yourself, discovering pain, going through budget, coming up to a decision, and obviously fulfillment and post-sell. It's a reason why I put this Sandler submarine, as we call it, on the screen, because I want you to see that the system is a system. But where has the Sandler sales method helped us the most when it comes to cold emailing and cold prospecting in general? It's helped us, number one, in the language that we use, asking the right targeted questions to get to the right people and give them the opportunity to say yes or no. If you're not a fit, just tell us. This has helped save us time. It's helped us go on to the next prospect when the prospect that we're emailing or reaching out to isn't the right fit. On top of saving us time by asking the right calibrated questions, we've been able to revive some of our cadences with our final email, which we call close the file. The Sandler sales method has a great close the file email. That's really a template, but it gets really high response rates. So when you've gone through 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 touch points in your cadence and you want to throw a Hail Mary, the close the file email from the Sandler sales method, which I'm sure you can Google, is a great email to put as that Hail Mary touch, which gets a surprisingly high amount of responses. And Never Split the Difference. Never Split the Difference is a book by Chris Voss. Chris Voss is an ex-FBI hostage negotiator. Sometimes when we're reaching out to our clients, we have to take a different perspective on the conversation. And Chris Voss definitely does that. As an ex-hostage negotiator, Chris Voss is able to take real-life hostage situations and turn them into everyday type situations you might have with your prospects, with your friends, your family, your coworkers, but ultimately provides for great communication strategies. Never Split the Difference has allowed us, through implementing the techniques shown in the book, to increase our effective communication by having the right targeted messaging and more. So here's a little bit more on Never Split the Difference negotiation strategies. Active listening is one big piece of the book, making sure we're paying attention to the other party's words, but also their tone. And yes, I truly believe there's tonality to email marketing. How they email you, how often they email back, how they reply, how short or long-winded they are, will help you discover some of what's really going on without them actually saying it. And this book helps you uncover those things. Sometimes we call those the hidden whos, or what Chris Voss likes to call them, the black swans. Acknowledging emotions. We don't believe in saying, I understand how you feel. Understanding how someone feels is a good way, a great way to turn someone off. Saying you understand how someone feels when you're not actually in their shoes, even if you've been very close to being in their shoes before, it can be a big turnoff. So we like to acknowledge emotions, let people know we can imagine how they're feeling and we can understand the situation that they might be in, but not the feelings that they may have. And using calibrated questions. We don't want to give away our secret sauce. We're trying to get someone on the phone when we're doing cold email outreach. So using calibrated questions, we can not only figure out if they're a good prospect for us, but pull out of them what actually might be going on in their business that our solution is the right fit for. And we definitely want to avoid making concessions. One of the worst things a salesperson can hear is send me something. We don't ever send anything. Sending over marketing collateral when you don't know if your prospect's even the right fit, or if they're even looking to buy what you have, or if they're actually going to read it, is a waste of everyone's time. So there's some great negotiation strategies and Never Split the Difference for avoiding sending something and actually getting someone on the phone or disqualifying. So are you ready to supercharge your sales? If you need any assistance with the creative in your email marketing, from the visuals to the messaging to the send times and more, we're a full service agency that would love to do a consultation with you. You can reach us at yourdigitalresource.com or sales@yourdigitalresource.com, or of course by phone on the slide here. It was a really great pleasure to be able to present this information to you. I hope you all learned a ton, and I wish you a happy cold calling.
Thank you, Shay. Wow, those were such great tips. For me, like getting in touch with the right person at the right time, with the right messaging and like with the right cadence, it always feels like, I don't know, like a marketing like utopia. But Shay has given so much more structure on how to just get closer to that end state. I really hope everyone here enjoyed the session as much as I did, and we'll be sending out the recording for this session in a little bit. So feel free to chew on it, send it to anyone you know. It's truly good stuff. And before we let you guys go, we wanted to leave our attendees with a gift to help you get started with better email marketing results. So one really great way to push your new cold email campaign to net new audiences is with VIB's email marketing solution called VIB Emails. So what we do with VIB Emails is we take your email and we push it out to up to 75,000 tech audiences from our community. So we usually price each send at about a couple $1,000s, but we'd love for you to come and try it out for free and take your cold emails out for a spin. So just scan the QR code to get started. It's completely free, so don't miss out. All right, and so we've come to the end of the presentation. Thank you guys for coming again, and a big thank you to Shay. Feel free to reach out to his team if you need any help on the creative side of cold emails, and if not, do remember to grab that free trial with VIB. Thank you all for coming, and we hope to see you guys for our next session.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.